Hi, this is Darren from Property Prosperity. I thought I'd have a chat to you tonight about a conversation I had with a client today, actually. And the situation was they were talking about how it's really good if we can, try and get a few people that are interested in signing up to buy the house. And I explained to them the most important thing is not necessarily just getting someone to sign up to buy the house, but it's actually getting someone that's actually going to go through and actually settle, give you cash. So they're actually going to go through with buying your house. I suppose the thing that some people aren't aware of is that people out there sometimes are actually just out there to put lots of offers in lots of houses and they're wasting people's time. And the danger is with that, as far as the owner's concerned, once they get someone that's signed up and signed a contract and everything's all, as far as everyone's concerned, that's it, and from everyone's perspective, then they can sit back and relax. They've finally found someone that's going to buy the house. So the thing that I know, it's so frustrating with someone that's actually signed a contract and then they change their mind and they decide to pull out later on. You might not be aware, you may or may not be aware that basically when someone signs a contract, there's another form I have to create to get them to sign off. It's called a Form 1. So basically a Form 1 gives them all the information they need to know about the property. Just make sure they've got all the. It's a legal document basically. It's sort of about 70 pages of information. Is there any toxic waste? Is there an Aboriginal burial site? Is there any other things we need to know about the site so that I'm not misleading anyone in a particular way? So generally, what I do is usually wait until we sign the contract and then I prepare this Form 1 document. It takes about a week to prepare that. And after that, they've got 2 days of cooling off period. So cooling off means they can basically change their mind for no reason whatsoever. So it's a legal thing that's been brought in as a bit of a safeguard for shonky real estate agents that come and sign someone up and don't give them a chance to have a bit of a think about whether they really want to buy the property or not. And so that's what the cooling off period's all about. It's 2 working days. So if you sign up on a Thursday, it'll be all of Friday and all of Monday. And then from the end of Monday, then you're all locked in basically. After that, they'll still have, be able to change their mind based on any other conditions. So if it's subject to finance or it's subject to the sale of the house or any other sort of conditions. So they'll still be able to change their mind after that, but only for those particular items basically. So, but my thing is before we even get to that point, I really don't want people putting in offers unless they really want to buy the house really, because it's just a bit depressing when everyone's signing a contract. I've gone around, driving around and getting everyone signing a contract and stuff. It's a bit of a hassle as a real estate agent trying to get people to, it's quite a big detailed sort of document to get people to sign off on. So if they're signing up on 10 other properties at the same time, then they're probably just going to waste your time. Hey Chris, thanks for joining. And so my whole thing is I really want to qualify people. One of the reasons why I have 2 people when I have an open inspection is because I want to really start to build a relationship with the client that's coming to look at the house. So what I do is have Isaac that works for me. He's a super nice guy. So he stands out the front, getting always everyone's name and details and all that sort of stuff. And then once they come in, then I'm sort of walking around with them, having a bit of a chat as we're talking about the house. And part of that is obviously I'm there to try and sell the house. And then secondly, I'm out there to try to get some feedback about the house so I can pass that back to the owner. But thirdly, I'm trying to find out about the person. Do they really want this house? Do they love it? If they're an investor, they're not really falling in love with the house. They, potentially they could change their mind. At the end of the day, if they find a better deal somewhere else, they'll ditch me as quick as they possibly can and move on to something else. And so what I'm looking for is, if they come there with their family and their kids and they're picking out their bedrooms and their kids are playing in the backyard and they talk about how much they love it and their local school and their mum lives down the road and all that sort of stuff. So I'm trying to find someone that really wants to live there. I don't want someone signing up a contract and then changing. So if they fall in love with a house and I can see they've fallen in a house, the other thing about it is if I know they really love the house, then probably they're gonna see more value than anybody else will. So I know that they're gonna pay more than other people are gonna be. Not in a bad sense. At the end of the day, if someone pays more money, it's not because they're paying too much. It's because they see more value than somebody else does. So if I'm an investor, I'm gonna pay whatever rental return I'm willing to pay. Whatever I think I'm gonna get, the best bang for my buck essentially. But if I'm going to live there, then my mum lives around the corner, my kids go to the local school, I love the fact there's a park across the road because my kids love kicking the football and all that sort of stuff, then I don't really care. It's really an intangible sort of value to the property house. So, they're going to pay a lot more than someone that's just an investor because they don't really give a crap. They're not going to live there. They don't really care. They're just purely focused on the rental return. So, So that's why, I really want to have a good conversation with people, trying to have a good understanding of what their situation is. But the other thing is, quite often, because I'm only a fortunate position, I've got like a real estate company, but I've got a builder's license, I've got a mortgage broking company and all that sort of stuff. So I have a good understanding of, things they need that matter, really. So I'll be having a chat, so if you've been talking to the bank yet, have you got any finance sorted out? And if I know they haven't even chatted to a bank yet, they have no idea how much money they've got to spend, then that's not such a good thing. At the end of the day, if they don't know how much money they've got to spend, they're out buying a house, that's not so good. But if they've talked to a bank and then, they've, I can start to get a feel of whether they got pre-approval or not. And then also I'm just asking what sort of job they got. They've had some money saved up and what sort of other houses they're looking for. I'm trying to get a bit of a guide of whether they can afford to buy the house. At the end of the day, there's no point selling the house to someone that can't afford to buy it, because firstly, it's annoying for the owner. It's annoying for the agent because they've wasted all this time with the person that's not going to buy it. But also, it's annoying for the person that's going to buy it, because at the end of the day, they want to know they're going to be able to afford this house, because they've brought their missus out to the house, they've brought their kids out, everyone's fallen in love with it, they're all excited, they've signed the contract, we've wheeled and dealed, gone backwards and forwards trying to get to a price they're happy with. There's nothing worse than a person that's bought the house that thought that's the house of their dreams, to find out that it's all been snatched away from them because they can't afford the finance, because some other sort of issue and stuff. So, it's not necessarily a purely a personal thing, and the fact that I don't want to waste my time, or a purely personal thing and I don't want to waste the owner's time. As far as the buyer's concerned, if I can give them information, let them know that it's probably not going to happen. At the end of the day, if you haven't worked out your finances yet, you're probably in a bit of trouble, because, who knows how you can afford this thing. And so the key is to give them as much information as possible. And in the world of real estate, we talk about qualifying people. It means, just asking lots of questions to make sure they're likely to be able to afford the property, or they really want the property. At the end of the day, if they don't want it, or if they can't afford it, then what's the point? Everyone gets really excited about something that's probably not going to happen. So hopefully that makes a bit of sense. You probably understand now why, if you ever go out to an open inspection, I suppose not necessarily for all agents, probably for me in particular, if you come to one of my open inspections, you'll notice that I'm asking you heaps and heaps of questions, and I really want to have a good understanding about the situation. When you come to my opens, basically everyone that comes to my open, I follow you all up, I give you all a phone call and say, hey, just follow up, see what you thought about the property. Secondly, my next question after that is what you thought about the property. If you're interested in putting an offer, all my questions are then about, hey, have you seen any other properties in the area? Are you putting any other offers in the area? Have you put in, an offer on any other properties in the area? Do you have you organised your finance? All that sort of stuff. And sometimes people feel a bit uncomfortable. It's like, hey, why are you asking me so many questions? But to be honest, it's not a purely selfish sort of viewpoint. It's not because it's just about me. It's also just about you. At the end of the day, if you don't have all the information you need to make an informed decision to buy the property, that's one of the reasons why I have 2 open inspections a week. Because if you come to have a look at an open inspection on say a Saturday, and you come along without your missus, or then I'm going to want you to come back and have another look, because I don't want you to buy in the property without making sure both your parties are involved. Because at the end of the day, you're going to get yourself in trouble if you buy a property and your missus hadn't checked it out. So generally I have an open on a Saturday, and I have an open on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. That gives them a chance to come back and have a second look. To be honest with you, if someone comes to my open inspections are only for like half an hour, because I figure that's long enough to decide if you like the property or not. But saying that, if you come to an open inspection, you've only seen it for like 10 minutes and you put in an offer, that's probably not a good sign for me, because I'm like, hey, are you sure you want to put an offer? You've only seen it for like 10 minutes. You sure you don't want to come back and get your missus to come back, or get your dad come back, or your mum to come back and give you a second opinion, make sure they're happy with the house and all that sort of stuff. So quite often, I generally won't take the first offer that people put in. I'll say, hey, why don't you go away, have a bit of a think about it overnight, and come back and just make sure you definitely want this house. Because for me, there's nothing worse than someone signing up for a house and finding out they definitely, they change their mind down the track, because it's not good for me. It's not good for the owner. It's not even good for the buyer. So the most important thing is, people are really clear what they want and how they want it, and they can actually afford it at the end of the day. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully you understand if you ever come to my open and I ask you thousands of questions, why I'm asking you lots of questions, and not necessarily purely just for me. It's also for you as well. So hope you appreciate that. If you like what I had to say, then click on the like button. If you haven't liked what I had to say, then still click on the like button, because I really appreciate it. And if you know someone that's out there shopping around, or someone that's selling a house and they're talking to their agent, and they found they've had an open, and they've taken the first offer they've had, then click on the share button, because maybe they need to think about it, whether you really want to take the first offer. Maybe you want to push people back and maybe make people think about whether this is really the right house for them, because you might find if they think about it a bit more, they might think it's more valuable than they had thought before, and they might be willing to pay more money than they otherwise thought. So hopefully that makes sense. If you've got a comment, then I'm happy for you to click a comment in the comment box. I really appreciate your feedback. And if you've got something you'd like me to talk about in a future episode, happy to put a comment in the comment box. I'm happy to chat about that too. So thanks, guys. I look forward to talking to you next time. Thanks. And thanks for the likes too. And thanks, John. I appreciate you giving me your feedback as well. And I appreciate you giving me your feedback. And hopefully you win that Builder of the Year competition. I've voted for you. So anyone out there, John Grima, get in there and vote for him, because he's got a gold-plated shovel. So he must be half good at what he does. So thanks, guys. Have a good day. See ya.